the fight that was happening. They just didn't know when we were going to get it done.
When did this deal get done?
Last couple days.
Was it a difficult deal to complete?
Not at all, man. You have two straight killers coming out of the gates that are dying to face each other, and it's what makes Khabib so popular and incredible. He's undefeated, and it's what makes Conor an international superstar. Conor McGregor lays off 2 years, comes straight out the gate, and wants to go right after Khabib. You know, they got the bad blood and all the stuff that went down in New York. It's awesome.
Did it require ever getting in the same room? Because I know you guys had scheduled that a couple times. Did it ever happen?
We never got together. We never got in the same room. It wasn't necessary. We ended up getting the deal done.
Dana, last time Conor was at a UFC event, I think everybody remembers what happened, so we don't got to bring that back up. However, is that a concern at all when you have these two guys?
No. I think that, you know, Conor came out and did what he did and didn't expect the results that happened. You know, I'm pretty sure he's on probation right now in New York. I think that we're not going to have any problems with these guys. You know, we're going to have a great fight.
Security, come on. Please, gentlemen, please. No, 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 it's okay. I want to. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Come on, guys. Fuck this guy. Fuck this motherfucker. Hey, I will smash you. Go. Come on, go. We'll see. Please. Yeah, we will see.
So I think for Khabib, you know, I don't think he's going to get rattled by Conor McGregor necessarily, but he is very motivated to smash Conor McGregor. And sometimes you can get a little too excited.
Artem Lubov is his name, who is very good friends with Conor. Our staff was there. We broke it up. This type of stuff happens all the time amongst fighters. You know, the week of the fight, they've been in training camp. They're cutting weight. They're irritated. They're agitated. And if people have problems, they see each other. And these things happen. Conor heard about it and loaded a plane up in Ireland, and 20 goons. They jumped on a plane and they flew here. Yesterday during media day, they had it timed perfectly that when everything was breaking up, the fighters are going down, they're getting on the buses, they're going back. He had two of his guys who were credentialed to cover the event for the Mac Life, a company of his. And they opened these side doors. The cameras caught that they opened these side doors, let these guys in. These guys got down to the buses and started to attack the buses. And Khabib and his crew weren't the only ones on there. I mean, the entire fight card was pretty much on the the main fight card. Were in the buses and their camp.
They know a lot of security here, media. It's gonna be big. You understand? They come with 30 people. Come here. Send me a message, like location, I'm gonna come, whatever you want, doesn't matter, Ireland, New York, Brooklyn or Moscow, doesn't matter. Tell me, where? Yesterday I give you slab, Artyom, I give you slab, you eat this like a woman, like baby. What happened now? Something changed? Or you with 30 people? Let me know, and that's it. For you, this one for Conor.
A fight.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because you speak to people, and to be honest, I think you could speak to him, the next day and the next day and the next day, and he'd probably keep changing his mind the same as everybody else. It is one of those kind of fights, and I think because there's not a great deal of build-up, there's a lot of mystery around what's going on, how each fighter's looking, and where their mind's at going into this one. I keep going back and forth on it. You know, when we first started talking about the fight, I expected Khabib to be able to get Conor to the floor and just maul him. But then that opinion's changed several times. You know, I watched the first 2 rounds of the Iaquinta fight and I thought, my goodness, you know, Khabib's dangerous. Then I watched the last 2 rounds and I thought, I think Conor's going to knock him out with the left hand. You know, you go back to the Michael Johnson fight, I felt the same thing then. You saw him rock for a second, you think Conor's going to light him up with that left hand. And the thing that keeps going around in my head is that Khabib lacks footwork. He's excellent once he's got his hands on you, but until he gets his hands on you, his footwork is just moving forward. And Conor's smart enough to start walking people on. Now, the difference is that he's got to create the space to land that left hand. And we saw Edson Barbosa struggling, but Edson Barbosa's a kicker. So with Conor, you know, being a specialist with his left hand, I feel like he's going to be able to create that space for it. I do think he's going to have to.
As a jiu-jitsu master, if you were to work with Conor McGregor for his fight versus Khabib, what would you do? I mean, could he master the rubber guard in fucking 8 weeks? How is he gonna survive down there? I mean, listen, if he doesn't knock him out initially, of course, people are saying that, but
yeah,
tell me your thoughts on that.
You know, if I had, you know, 3-4 months to train him, I would definitely add rubber guard to his game. Would it be enough at that point? I don't know. But I would add a lot of other stuff too. We would be working, you know, guard retention, guard recovery, side control escape, back escape, mount escape, over and over every day. Side control escape, guard recovery, guard retention. You know what? I think the mistake people are making with Khabib, the biggest mistake, is when they get taken down, they're trying to get back up. Getting back up is not going to work against Khabib. That's where he shines. He shines in riding people that are trying to get back up. You remember that movie, The Warriors?
Of course.
Sure.
Remember when they were running from the baseball Furies? Ajax and that other guy were running, and the baseball Furies were chasing him through the park. Remember that?
Of course.
And they were running, and then Ajax and that guy decided to stop. They're like, "Fuck this running. Let's stop. Let's just stop and beat these pussies up." Yeah. Right? Remember that?
Yeah.
They stopped. I think, you know, when Tony fights Khabib, he's not going to be trying to drag himself up from the fence. He's going to square up and fight him off his back, not spend the whole goddamn round trying to get up and getting beat down. That shit ain't going to work against Khabib. He wants you to do that shit. So he hasn't had anybody with a high-level guard square up with him and fight him and go after him off his back. You know what I mean? Attack him off his back, not trying to drag themselves away and trying to climb up the fence and just drag themselves and turning and trying to stand up. That shit will never work. That's just going to lose you rounds. So, you know, I'm not saying that my strategy will work, but we already know that other strategy is not going to work. So with Tony, we're constantly preparing to, you know, if he ends up on his back, to attack. And I don't think no one's throwing any heat at Khabib off their back. They're just trying to survive and trying to get back up. So that's the approach we're going to take with Khabib.
So when Khabib
elbows, you know what I mean? Throw elbows. Put him in full guard. Constant. Don't try to drag yourself away. Try to focus on putting him in full guard and throwing elbows. Recover, throw elbows. Recover, throw elbows. Recover, throw elbows. Cut him up instead of trying to drag yourself away like a zombie.
So you think when guys have been taken down by Khabib, they're almost thinking, okay, this is the nightmare I was worried about. Just try to get out of it instead of addressing it head on.
Exactly. They're all trying to drag themselves away, and he just rides those wrists. And if they do get back on their feet, he's just going to bring them back down again. He's really good against the fence, standing against the fence. Khabib is amazing standing against the fence. Whether he came from, you know, being just like a kickboxing situation and then clinching against the fence, you're fucked. Or he took you down and you got up and you're against the fence. Same scenario. He'll just retake you down, and that's just, you're just going to